We're going live. We're going live.
Everybody get.
Adam, don't forget to hit the record button.
So demanding.
So demanding. Guess what I just did?
You hit the record button.
I just hit the record button.
It serves its purpose.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, guys.
Currently, there's one concurrent viewer.
That's good. We can get the housekeeping out.
Yeah, Pedro, we're live.
I got
Pedro's here.
five,
We can start.
There we go.
So Matt's on his way home from work because that's what Matt does. That's what Matt's all about. He's the hardworking American. He's on the front lines. He's a pharmacy tech, so he's giving COVID to people giving prescriptions to people every day. A Utica hat with a Milwaukee shirt seems suspect. It's I got this. This is a cool hat. I see the cool little thing here. I got this at the All-Star game, and from Matt, because Matt bought 3 of them and gave up 1 each to each of us. And Gio doesn't get his yet because he didn't go to the All-Star game.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about that.
But if you're thinking what I might think that you might be thinking that I'm thinking that you're thinking, no, I do not know of any Wave players that are going to Utica. So to get that out of the way right away.
Oh, that would have been such a good hint.
That would have been a good hint.
Oh, man.
But I don't have it's none of your business hat, so I can't. No. From what I know, there are potentially 5 players going to potentially 3 different teams. And we'll leave it at that. That's all I know. 3 different teams?
Well, we have a few confirmed ones. We have Baltimore that's confirmed.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, it was announced. Gianni announced it on their last webcast that they did.
All right, so Stu Grable's going to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else that you know that's been officially announced?
Ian.
Well, Ian and I mean Ian, yeah, obviously. And then somebody else mentioned Max. I mean, that's old history, and Chad Vandergriff is old history now. That's like 23 years ago in quarantine days.
Right.
But I know of. So if Grable is announced, I know of.
Okay, and then the other one that went to Baltimore too. Oh my God.
Was that announced?
Yeah, both of them were. Back to
Okay,
back.
so Stu Grable and Mario Alvarez are both going to Baltimore for a 1 year. Yeah. Hey Eric. Yeah, everyone's asking where Huff is, and I'm wondering if we should maybe get him on the show. But I don't want this to go 4 hours, and I want to actually recap the Central Cup too.
Yeah, this is true. That's more of a Friday night show.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, maybe we'll have Christmas with Huff or something like that. And I don't think that'll work either.
I might turn into the Grinch show.
So first thing I want to say, there's only 6 people watching, but for those who watch us afterwards, and for those who are watching now, I want to give a big congratulations to Jeff Husted, who last week resigned from the MASL and took a job as the Director of Public Relations and Communications with the brand new Kansas City women's team that's going to be in the NWSL this season. And he told me they have some real quick deadlines. Like they just announced the team December 1st, and I think their draft is in like 3 weeks. And their season start. They have some kind of mini tournament going on, and then their season starts in April. They don't have a name or colors or kit or any of that stuff, and he's gonna be the man taking care of all that. So that's gonna be that's like golf clap for. I don't want to clip the mic here. We'll get into that clipping the mic a little bit later.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, but big congratulations to Jeff.
Yeah, congratulations,
now that he's not
Jeff.
officially with the league anymore, we can get him on the show. and he won't have as much of a conflict of interest, we'll say.
Yeah, let's take the political route.
So that's hey Brian, how's it going? Yeah, so that's the first order of business. Get that out of the way. Second order of business. I placed the order on the 15th for the corn dog trophy for the West All Stars. The trophy was $50, shipping was $20, and they made it. I figured I would just get it whenever, because with holidays and everything, I figured shipping would be longer, but they wouldn't let me submit an order without putting in a ship date. So I put the end of the year as a ship date, and then I get this email saying, "Well, we can't make that date without rush expediting. So if you want to pay another $20, we can rush this order for you." I'm like, "Just send it to me whenever you can." I would have never even put that in there if I would have known. But so here's my humble plea: if anyone wants to donate to the Corn Dog Trophy Foundation Fund, send me a message or something, or do something. I mean, it's not a huge giant amount, so we're fine covering it. But a while ago, I think Dave and a couple others mentioned that they would pitch in. So if you guys really want to, even though the West won, what can we do? Not much we can do. The West won.
All we could do is congratulate them
All we can do is cry
with
about it.
With a corn dog trophy.
Give them but I think that'll be really cool, because I think
Right.
Nick Ferrer is totally on board with it, and I think he'll give it to people and take pictures of it and just have a good time with it. It should be a fun time with that. So that said, did something happen over the weekend that we should know about?
I felt like I got a lot of notifications on something, but
I was trying to record YouTube videos, and I kept getting interrupted with these like multi-hour long soccer games around TV.
No, but we have our champion. So
we have our champion.
Do we want to start with that, or do we want to just recap round 2 first?
It doesn't matter either way.
Well, then congratulations, KC Comets. You are the first ever Central Cup champions.
Another quiet golf clap. Yeah.
And I'll swallow my words for rooting Wichita.
I just, after watching, so did I choose Wichita or did I choose Kansas City? Because
no, you chose Wichita. We have video proof.
Looking back on it, I should have chose Kansas City without realizing what I was doing. But here's what happens: we are very, very short-minded in this short memory span in this sport. And whatever happens one week, we were like assume that that's going to happen forever on. And like Alec Marshke did his picks, and he was saying based on all the players that St. Louis. I don't know why I get San Diego and St. Louis. It's two words that start with S. I don't get San Francisco and St. Louis mixed up. And it's probably this hat is what it is.
That's what's ruining you.
Yeah. So St. Louis, after their signings, especially signing Max Ferdinand and the strength that they had towards the end of last season, everyone thought, oh, they're going to take it. That they're going to go with that. And They came out, and Wichita just manhandled them in that first game. And after seeing that, I was like, wow, Wichita is really the real deal. They really have it. And granted, they played some good games, but they were like a one and done team pretty much. Where Kansas City came in and just calmly kind of beat everyone by the score of something to 3.
Right. Yeah. I think though, well, I'll hold off on saying this, but my mentality was, first of all, I love an underdog story. So, even though I'm a Blast fan, clearly not an underdog, but I saw Wichita the first game, and I was like, geez, they can play. And they could play. Their problem is they're an M2 side. What does that mean? They don't have the depth that teams have. So
that's really it, yeah.
I mean, Saturday, well, let's get right into it. Wichita and Dallas on Friday, right? They were running 2 lines. They were running 2 lines. Yeah, I know it was working, or 2 shifts, should I say?
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you expect? Half those guys are going to be hurt by game time on Sunday,
right?
Just because the recovery time is crazy. If you're putting that much demand on 2 lines, they're gonna get hurt, and that's exactly what happened. Half of the team was hurt by the game. Though that Dallas game, they were competitive. They did not give up, and I mean, it was a good show. Granted, Dallas did what Dallas does, well, sometimes does.
Well, they did it twice. Dallas did Dallas's thing twice.
This
They
is
had
true.
two wins by 2 goals.
And Lipe and Mujin were the heart of it.
Yep.
Honestly, Lipe in that Wichita game, Lipe didn't get. I think he got 1 goal, 2 goals, and it just he was more of an assist machine because people knew what I like about Dallas or what Dallas can have is, for example, in that Wichita game, they double teamed Lipe.
Yeah.
That left someone open, whether it was Mujin, whether it was Scott, whether it was whoever was around him. And Powell, I like him too, man. He's a young kid, just came back from injury last season, and he has some moves too, man. So
Yeah.
Dallas definitely has a good future.
That brings up a good point. So Brian, we'll get to the Sosa thing in a little bit. I was thinking about so let's talk the elephant in the room of St. Louis. St. Louis didn't play very well. They didn't have a single game where they played 4 quarters. They had 2 games where they played a very, very solid 2 quarters, which I think we've seen a lot of that in the past. And I think last season they finally, I think they have finally overcame that hurdle where they're able to put a complete game together. We saw it in Milwaukee. We saw it all over the place. And I think they were headed into the season taking that momentum. I think COVID screwed up a lot of people. I think they still have some players that are out, but your comment about Lipe getting double teamed and having other people to go to in Milwaukee, Max Ferdinand had that. Like, who do you double team in a line of Max Ferdinand, Ian Bennett, Alex Bradley, Marcio, and Derek Huffman? Who do you double team there?
It's either Ian or Max, and that's the thing that worked there, is that when that double team happened, one of them was open.
Yep.
And that was the beauty of Milwaukee, even though I hate saying that.
And then you go to you won't have to see it this year, so sorry, I guess. The problem is, and I want to say this gently because I have a lot of respect for all the players in the league, but very specifically right. St. Louis. I love what Everton's doing there. I love Shelley. She's a great owner. All the players I've met have been great. One of the better goalkeepers in the league for sure. In Paulo, very, very dynamic, acrobatic, fun to watch goalkeeper for sure.
He had a great game. I mean, if it wasn't for him, all the games except I think it was the first one he didn't play in.
Yeah.
Without him, I mean, there was a few saves where he saved it right off the line or on the corner.
I love watching him play 6 attacker. Because it almost seems like they got slower without him in there at 6 attacker. But there's no threat as big as Max on St. Louis right now. There are some guys. There are probably 7 or 8 guys who are right on the cusp of being that threat, and probably halfway through the season will be that threat. But in this game, in this weekend, in this time, they just didn't have anyone. So as soon as they double team Max and took him out of the play, and then let's talk about something we talked about last week, like shooting accuracy. Man, like if you're in the corner, the rounded corner, can you see my hand? I can't see myself. So if you're in the rounded corner and you take a shot at the goal this way, the ball should not go out of bounds on the yellow line.
Yep.
There's just like no way that should happen. And that happened like 4 or 5 times. Obviously the shots over the glass, especially depending on the turf. I know there's a lot of weird bounces in Wichita. So the ball bounces in the last second, especially how fast it's going. You take a shot, it thinks it's just going to fly over. But there were a lot of shots that I don't want to pick on him, but the former rookie of the year had a wide open net and he was on the short side and the goalkeeper was completely out of position and he missed it wide far side. It's like, how does that happen? All you got to do is you got 21 feet or whatever. No, you're not 21 feet, whatever it is in indoor. 6, 8, 4, 2. So I don't know. How big is the indoor goal?
The indoor goal, I think it's 8 feet, 6 feet.
But by how wide?
Oh, you got me there.
It's more than 6 feet tall. We don't know. We're dumb.
I'll tell you right now.
We don't know.
I should
All
know
I know
this.
is, according to some guy on the internet, if you make the goals smaller, there'll be more scoring.
Don't go down this path.
Okay, I'll go.
Don't go down this path. But yeah,
But
so like that St. Louis game. So Dallas, Wichita had a great game, but that St. Louis game, like you said, like we said, we have a lot of respect for them and we love the organization, but they fall apart when things don't go their way. And
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like JT came up short so many times that game. And Daduka and Max just don't have that chemistry yet. It's either doing a Max thing or the Duca thing. It's never
Yeah.
that mesh isn't there.
And I have no doubt. So that one of my questions. So you guys know that I write down weird, random comments about things. One of my questions though was, how long does it? Where is my? I can't even find it anymore. Oh, how much of a eating tacos? Nice. Well, hello, eating tacos. I'm Dad.
Hi.
Feel free to join us whenever you want. Everyone will make fun of you for eating tacos until then.
All right.
But so how much can we gather? How much can we gather of a real season from these 3 games for St. Louis specifically?
Oh, not enough. It's not enough.
So take it on the other side. How much can we gather from a real season based on Kansas City?
So the thing with Kansas City, right? We even saw it in the beginning of the Wichita and the beginning of the St. Louis game. Is Kansas City is really good at remaining calm, really good at finding spaces. But a team, when they're on the back foot, they're vulnerable to get scored on. So before they get that control, Lipe put 3 in on them. Before they got that control, St. Louis, granted one was, anyways, they got 3 on them, and then Wichita, I think, had 4 on them, 3 on them. I can't even remember. Jeez, it's terrible.
Oh, goal is 8 by 14. So hey, Scott, in Dallas, how's it going? TNT Dynamite says the goal is 8 by 14. That makes sense because I know it's not 6 feet because
no,
otherwise you wouldn't have to reach for it.
I'm just kidding. Wichita scored 1. But anyways,
yeah.
Before they get that pace, the thing is, Kansas City is the type of team that starts slow, but then when they get going, they really get going.
Yeah.
So if a team puts it away before, because St. Louis had opportunities to put more than 3 on them, but they just didn't. Their just shooting was terrible.
Yeah.
And that's what really kills it.
So Jack says St. Louis went out and bought new players, and I feel like you saw that because the chemistry wasn't there, whereas the guys from KC have at least been playing together longer and have that chemistry. Kind of yes and no. KC has a lot of new players on their team this year.
They do. They have 2
Well,
rookies.
the thing is, you didn't see Nicola Neto in goal at all.
Last game he was in.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and he had a great game.
Well,
he did have a great game.
8-1. So
yes, he had a fantastic game.
But okay, so to answer the question, so yeah, with St. Louis, you're not. These 3 games aren't really. I don't think it's going to be the same during the regular season. As for Kansas City, I don't know. Like, there's something about him. I can't put my finger on it really, but I don't think. I think Kansas City and St. Louis are going to have about the same record this year.
So
you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's break this down. So we have, and I'm looking into my second monitor here, for my cheat notes. So based on what I saw over the weekend, so the teams that are going to be playing, we kind of know that the East is going to be Baltimore, Utica, Harrisburg, Rochester. They're going to be basically playing only against each other with maybe a trip to Florida here and there. But I don't think there's going to be a plan, at least to start with, for any of those teams to play outside of those 4. So that means you have 7 teams playing in essentially 4 arenas. So it's St. Louis, Kansas City, Dallas, Florida, San Diego, Tacoma, Ontario. Did I miss anybody? If I missed your name, please raise your hand. No, I think I have everyone.
So the first like openings, it's only like 6 teams.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the East?
No, I'm
Sorry.
talking about the rest. So
Oh.
not the West, but the rest. So you have the East and the rest. See what I did there? Based on what I saw this
Well
weekend,
done, man. All right.
I don't think St. Louis finishes above last.
That's harsh, man.
It's harsh, but Tacoma beefed up. San Diego's always been beefed up. Ontario's beefed up. Kansas City, we just saw what they did. We saw what Dallas did, and Florida is like.
By the way,
hang on, Brian. You said Heat. I'm putting the Heat in the 4 in the East that probably will only play against each other. So Heat, Baltimore, Utica, and Rochester. So I don't know. I saw that and I'm like, I don't want to get St. Louis fans like freaked out or anything, but if that's the way it's gonna go, those 7 teams, it's gonna be some crazy competition. And I have no doubt that Everton can make it happen. But based on what I saw over the weekend, I'm looking at 7 out of 7.
I will say this. St. Louis has a very short window to get it right.
Yeah.
If they don't get it right, they're gonna finish last. I don't see, because what's gonna happen is the teams that are bringing in new players and are changing their core group and all that, who already had solid squads, not bringing on so much new talent, they're going to get their rhythm going. St. Louis has the advantage to be able to practice right now, to be able to get everything and get as many points as they can on the board before. Go ahead.
Finish your thought. I just wanted to do one of your moves there because I just pulled up St. Louis's schedule.
Yeah, I saw it too. That's why I was laughing.
So here's what we have. Oh, you're raising your hand. Yes, Mr. Tacos.
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to raise my hand like everyone else.
Okay.
Wait. Before we get into the schedule.
Yeah. Let's finish off.
Let's finish out the Central Cup.
Finish off. Okay. That's a good thing. So, I mean, my question was, how much of a real season can we get from this? Let's take that question after the Central Cup stuff. We'll close that down.
Exactly. So we'll just jump right into round 3. So the third place. I mean, we already talked about St. Louis. I mean, that was kind of embarrassing what happened with Dallas. They just fell apart. Fell apart after the first half. And the bicycle kick, that was disrespectful.
Well, obviously he wasn't aiming to clear the ball or to
of
score.
Course not. He was aiming to score.
Clear.
Right. But that was impressive, but at the same time I was like, that's like a dagger in the heart for St. Louis. Because here's a perfect example, right? St. Louis and Dallas had a really tight game the first half, right? Then that third half, they had moments where it looked like they were going to break through, where it looked like things were going their way. But then they had shot after shot and nothing.
Well,
and go ahead.
They caught the back of the arena a couple times.
No, they did. They really did. But that's the thing. Like, if they don't put away their chances, the team they're playing is going to put away their chances.
Yeah, right.
That's literally what it comes down to.
And that's what happened in Kansas City. I mean, I counted maybe 2 or 3 goals that should have gone in for St. Louis if they were executed better. I mean, there was the one where it was basically like a 2-on-0, guy missed it. He had an open net and missed it.
That was the one I was talking about right before you joined. It was a former rookie of the year, wide open net. He was on the short side and he missed it far post wide. So he had, and that's what we were trying to figure out how wide the goals were. So he had 14 feet to he probably had 13 and a half feet to make the goal and he missed it by about 3 feet wide.
Yep.
I mean, look at these stats. Like St. Louis had 12 shots on the fourth quarter. 12 shots on the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Scored 1.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
12 shots. That's ridiculous. Like there was no besides the second quarter. St. Louis had more shots each quarter than Dallas. That just goes to show you have to improve those. When you have those chances, you have to put them away. If not, they're come back and they're going to bite you.
Yep. And they had 2 very winnable games.
Yeah.
The Wings and the not the Wings. The
Wings and well, had they played
I was looking at, I think, no, they had one very winnable game. It was against Dallas. Because the other ones they lost, they only scored 3 goals. They lost 8-3 and 7-3.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, like they want to push everything to Max. Like I get that Max is the shiny new thing. but you have to have a backup plan. Like
Yeah.
you have to. It's just like sidekicks realize that everyone knows that Lipe is here now. Let's find other avenues. And they did. They brought on other talents and stuff like that. They used Mujin a lot more. That give and go they did on KC was beautiful. When Mujin held it up, Lipe just overlapped and laid it off. That was beautiful. So, I mean, you got to figure something else out. You had JT last season. He was a great player.
Yeah. Well, they got McGee back too.
Exactly. You still have the Duca. Like, you can't. I understand that Max is experienced and you could use that, but you can't just rely. He's not going to be your solution to everything.
I'm a giant Max fan and Max knows this. His skill is like top handful in the league for sure. It reminded me of when my daughter was on her U14 team and there was one girl who could dribble through everybody. And like she was always playing like right wing and she could just dribble down the right wing for everybody. And they were like, give it to Bryn. Always give it to Bryn. No matter what, give it to Bryn. She's the best player in the team. And it looked like something out of like a bad movie, like 80s movie, or like, oh, give it to the star because he can score. But when you, like we were talking earlier, all you need to do is not all you need to do, but you double team Max and you almost take him out of the game. Now, granted, Max is good enough that he can beat most double teams. But then if he lays off a perfect pass and the guy can't finish, that's not on Max. The first half of the All-Star game, Max was kind of like my MVP on the field, but I couldn't give you one specific thing he did that made him that way. It was all these little just flicks and moves and step ups that got the ball maybe back or, maybe stopped a rush or anything like that. There wasn't anything really tangible that you could say, oh, he did this, but it was like 40 little things that he did. But if he has nobody to pass to, you can't shoot. And then, penalties.
Yeah, you got to finish those, man. Oh, and then wait, you mean committing them? Stefan.
Committing penalties.
Jesus, I was just going to bring that up. Stefan, he's a good player. He has surprised me with what he can do, but he also showed me that he needs to learn how to tackle.
So Mijatovic, you mean?
Yeah.
So it's speaking of shiny new toy, he's like the kid who first realized that he can kick really hard, and every kick he has to make is as hard as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And every tackle he makes has to be as hard as he can. And he's a big guy. So if he goes against someone like a Max sized or, like against Benji in Wichita, they're going to always lose that battle. And they're probably going to get a foul call against. We saw that with Ricardinho in the Wave. Ricardinho weighs like 115 pounds and he goes up against like Bo or any of the guys on the Blast. he's not winning that battle. It's just he's going to dribble around him more often than not. But when they step their body into him, he's not winning that battle.
And like you say, he's a big guy, so I mean the call's going to get called against him every single time, especially because he just goes in with his whole body.
Yep.
I think he got what 3 blue cards.
He's my pick for and again, no disrespect to anybody here
No,
at
we're just
all,
calling it as what we saw.
but he's my pick for the most penalty minutes this season. No longer eating taco. What kind of tacos? Taco Bell?
Oh yeah,
Hard shell
I
or
go
soft
to-
shell?
And
cheesy gordita crunch, stuffed grilled cheese stuffed burrito, and a quesarito.
Nice.
can we talk about two things real quick? Can we talk about how Sherman missed I think it was almost all his shots?
Well, you don't want to talk about tacos anymore? I mean, we literally just talked 10 seconds about tacos. I was still going to.
Because I don't
Go
want to
on
be
about
hungry. I don't want to be hungry.
Oh,
Anybody-
all right.
Anybody in the chat object to us just changing the show to all about tacos? I mean,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Schmerman has one heck of a shot.
He does,
Oh.
but he needs to learn how to shoot it.
what's funny is that so Schmerman went St. Louis,
Baltimore.
Orlando,
Oh, then Baltimore. Right?
Baltimore, St. Louis.
Yeah.
When he was in St. Louis the first time, I didn't think he was all that great. It was the funny thing. We were down there for that summer half made up all-star exhibition game, and there were 3 guys that were next to us. They were giant Schmerman fans, and they were Ricky through the whole game. Like once you think, okay, they're gonna stop that after 5 minutes because they'll get old. No, the whole game. And it was great. It was a great experience. But I didn't really see too much of him until he went to Orlando. And then all of a sudden I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
His restart shots were like, where did this guy come from? And then
He made one. He made one 2 years ago in Utica from the midfield.
Yeah.
Top 90, top corner, where grandma
but the
keeps
good
the
thing
corn
is-
dogs. That's where
Yeah.
and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
holy crap.
The good thing is that they have 2 weeks essentially.
Yeah.
If they
The-
spend all their practices on shooting, it'll be a well-spent practice time.
Yeah.
I think so. So did you guys talk about St. Louis at all and their issues or whatever?
We did, we didn't, we kind of got into what's going to happen in the regular season. We wanted to finish up the Central Cup first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
Okay.
we could
Well, then I'll wait.
pin
I'll wait.
Yeah, we
St.
will.
Louis. I will say Dallas, great future. A lot of young talent.
Yeah.
Nelson, phenomenal player. Mike Jones, fast as all. So I mean, they have some good talent. So their last game against St. Louis showed a lot of what they could do, but it's going to take them some time.
Do you think they're going to get any players from Mesquite, like Eligwe?
So that was something I was just about to bring up because Jorge De Leon went to Ontario. And that's the only other Mesquite signing I've heard of.
Right.
I haven't heard anything about Cody Ellis or
Cameron Brown.
Well, or
the official-
Pollo Cortez. I mean,
Yeah,
all these-
Pollo, he would be.
Yeah. The only
And I would
real
imagine
official,
if they're not signed, I'm gonna say that they're probably gonna go to an Eastern team.
the only official signing that's even on the MASL site is Ian from the teams that aren't playing. That's the
Yeah.
only
Oh, wow.
loan signing right now. Now the Blast did announce Grable and Mario Alvarez, not the Turlock guy. Although that would be awesome, because if he would replace the Blast announcers, we just solved the problem. Okay, anyway, those are the only those haven't been officially put on the site yet. Now, granted, we did, Matt, before you joined, we did give a big shout out to Jeff Husted for his new job,
Yeah.
and that he's officially no longer with the league anymore. So they don't really have anyone, and they haven't had anyone all year for their social media, and you can kind of tell.
Yep.
but
Yeah, jinx.
I don't know who does the signings and who takes care of that, and when things are official, if money has to exchange hands or they have to do the secret handshake or whatever it is. But those will come up soon. I have a feeling a lot of them will come up maybe in January. Maybe they're just now. By now, it's too late for the holidays and the end of the year. I know of potentially 2 other wave signings that might go somewhere. I'm not going to say names until those are announced officially. Actually, maybe 3, but that's about it. So
The last
Facebook,
game.
what's that?
Oh, never mind. Thought you were gonna go right into the last game.
Oh, what last game?
Comets in the wings. I just wanted to say, the player that surprised me the most was Adam James.
Adam James, or Adam Jones, if you look at the KC broadcast graphic. Pregame, they showed him as Adam Jones, and I'm like, oh boy, he
was good, man. He was
he
good this
was
tournament.
the whole tournament.
Solid performance.
The first game he
Ellis
had a
too.
hat trick.
Kevin Ellis too. Jesus. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the first Wings ambush game he had a hat trick, and Kevin Ellis had a hat trick. That Kevin Ellis is so my thoughts, and I kind of wrote this to Eric Bergrud on Twitter the other day. I really thought losing Kevin Ellis for the All-Star game wasn't going to be a great big deal, and oh my God, that could have really turned things around for the East. Having him on there, he reminds me of all the players that Kansas City used to have that would just take a breakaway and run down the field and I'll dribble somebody and make a pass and score like every other time. But he's like endless energy. The only person on the field more than Kevin was Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo was running 3 and 4 and 5 minute shifts at points.
Can we talk about that? He played defense and well.
He did that starting last year a little bit, but he had a runner for him, so he wouldn't actually come back on defense.
It was Stokic.
Yeah, he was playing like the point in the attack, which is typically a defensive spot. But then as soon as they lost possession, he would sub off. But yeah, he was playing defense. He was playing.
He ran back a few times.
That was maybe he took offense to Derek's comments.
Maybe. I also want to highlight two of the rookie players that the Comets have, which is Lucas Sosa and Henry Ramirez.
Yeah,
they were phenomenal. Mm-hmm. They're good young talents, and if they keep it up, they're going to be solid.
Nick
and McDonald, yeah.
We'll see him. We'll see him in a couple of minutes here, I think. He was great. It looked like the old Comets team, which is a Wave fan I don't really like to see, but as a temporary Comets fan this year, granted I'm a fan of almost everyone this year, but the way the Comets treated us in KC was just, I'm a fan. So but watching all of them, it's like where did this team come from? So there's going to be some good things coming in KC. All right.
Yeah.
Facebook pay-per-view stuff. Other than the first game that we had the first weekend, not an issue, not a hitch. Everything worked well. I don't know if anyone had any issues with the broadcast not showing up for them or whatever. I had a weird issue where it was freezing up for me and doing some weird things. I just restarted my TV and it was fine after that. And I was only in one game. Everything else looked great. Comets have the best. In fact, we'll do the power rankings of the broadcasts in order: Comets, Dallas, St. Louis, Wichita. St. Louis, you could tell they got new headphones or headsets, so the audio was much crisper. The problem is the input getting cranked, so it was even worse as far as distortion was going. It was much more clearer and more piercing, and it annoyed the shit out of me. So that's my gripe. Wichita's broadcast had like some kind of weird frame mismatch. Like they were broadcasting at 20 and feeding it to 30 or something weird. So and the football lines didn't help that. So when they were doing side to side motion, it was jerky on a big TV, and it kind of, Pedro and I were lamenting at how it was giving us headaches in the first game. But my complaint, no clock synced with the broadcast. At one point, somebody scored a goal like 30 seconds left, and they just let the clock on the broadcast go because it wasn't synced with the arena clock, and they never restarted it, and then no replay. So every time I took a bite of food during the one game, they scored a goal and I missed it. So I'm going to complain about that because I can.
Well,
Use
don't
the
eat.
bicycle.
And the bicycle kick goal, possibly the greatest, one of the greatest goals of the tournament. You can't even see it. That was in St. Louis, though.
No, it wasn't, but
Yeah, it was in St. Louis. Yeah, you couldn't even see it. So
yeah.
that's my comments on that. How do you pronounce Freddie's last name? Moojen.
Mujin?
Mujan,
Yeah.
not Mujan
Mujan.
or Muin.
Muin.
Muin. Guys in St. Louis or Muin. Like, who the hell is that? Stefan Mijatovic. Is it Mijatovic or Mijatovic?
I thought it was
Oh.
Miyato.
I thought it was Mijatovic. I asked Scotty Fellows, who has a in with the Croatian community here in the Milwaukee area, and they definitively said it's Mijatovic. It's like every other Croatian name that's pronounced that way. But then guys are calling him Mijatovic. And then the final one that I
Wasn't that
really
St.
don't.
Louis too?
Yeah. Well, St. Louis started out the first half the right way and went to the wrong way in the second half. I don't know. How do you pronounce Hammerski? Is it Hammerski or Hammerski or Hammersky? Because I heard all three over the course of the weekends.
Yeah, I thought it was Hammerski until I heard the broadcast, and then I was like, "Wait, am I
Yeah.
saying it wrong?"
So I want to do this all season long. So, and we kind of started to do that. I asked Lemos because everyone called him Lemos, and then some people called him Lemos. And then he's like, no, it's like lemons. I'm like, oh, well, we all got it wrong because nobody once got that name right, except for the announcer from the Chicago Mustangs who accidentally called him lemons once. That was the closest to getting it right of anybody. So every player we have on here with a questionable name, I want to ask how they pronounce it. And every time we hear something goofed up, I want to bring it up. And hopefully as a league of fans, we can figure out how to pronounce these names.
That's right.
All right.
Congratulations,
business.
Saint. Congratulations, Comets. Champions 2020 Central Cup. Eric,
Much
congratulations.
Yes, definitely. We're doing golf claps on the show now.
That's right.
That's what.
Since you weren't here and you were eating tacos.
That's right.
But not only did they win, it was a dominating win.
Yeah, it was a solid performance. There was not one game where I questioned if they were going to win once they started playing.
The only team with a positive goal differential with plus 16 in 3 games. 23 goals in 3 games. They only gave up 7 in 3 games, which is kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely.
Dallas
Yeah.
surprised second.
Dallas was a surprise second only because Ambush was a surprise 4th. If we want to be real about it, I think a lot of people took Ambush to win this thing.
We did.
I didn't know what to think of the.
Yeah, we didn't.
So many new players.
I just was. That was my thing. I didn't think they were ready as a unit. Individually, they're superstars. Individually, they're great players. But as a team, it just need more time.
Yeah, Kansas City. Their roster's been together for a couple of years, so they kind of have more chemistry than any other team out there. So that's why I picked Kansas City. I mean, talent-wise, I think St. Louis is a couple steps ahead of Kansas City, but I think it boils down to chemistry, and we saw it the last 2 weeks.
So I would agree with you, but after this cup, just seeing what they could do, it has me questioning a lot because those players that Kansas City has had for a long time were putting on a show, man.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, where was he last season?
But there were a lot of newer players.
They were.
There weren't they lost. They lost Lucas Rodriguez, who retired. Stokic just got injured, tore his ACL in practice a couple of weeks ago, and basically forced to retired. And I remember Andonovsky saying that the two players he would have to start his team would be John Sosa and Stokic. So I thought that comment was interesting.
And then we didn't see Robert Palmer either, didn't he? Wasn't there.
He's gone.
He had some kind of ankle injury.
Yeah, he's injured, so he's not going to be playing for a while.
Okay.
They
All
said
right.
in the broadcast that he's gone for quite a bit.
Oh, they did. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know how long it was.
Yeah, it was. But then again, it was the Wichita broadcast, so
Right.
Cool. On a side note, it's cool to talk to him in Kansas City. Anyways.
Yes, definitely. So, 2 items left in the
Central Cup.
Central Cup, and the first one, our very own videographer Gio put together this clip.
Oh, that's right.
Benji just hadn't totally recovered and got a touch yet. Wichita misses a big chance to go up by 2 in this game. That ball has to be slotted to Brent Hobson on the back post. And that's a great call. Waiting for it in their own end. Trying to step up as Almeida almost intercepted that from Lakey. Instead giving forward Henry. And step first forward gives it to Benji. Benji pulls forward the shot.
Now a bicycle kick bouncing, and that is going to go in. And it is 5-2 side
empty
kicks.
goal, empty net or not, halfway line bicycle kick. Are you kidding me?
What's that right foot?
There's
the
the
right
bicycle
foot
kick
shot.
for you.
Goal!
What a
There
Third goal tonight.
quality from Lippe. Found the tiny space and with a drive in this third quarter.
Doesn't look like he tried.
He's got
You
not
see-
only
That was like a little space though.
Comments. Still on the power play for the next 40 seconds. Lucas again. His drive is stopped by a couple of players and then given the shoulder by Max Ferdinand.
This is just disgusting.
Over to Lucas
Yeah.
again. Settled it quickly. Into
What
the
a
box.
ball.
And
What a
Whoa, what a goal!
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh,
So there it is.
man.
Top 5 goals chosen by our very own Gio, with a tiny little bit of input from us. Just a little bit.
No, that bicycle kick. I'm just glad we had footage.
Yeah, and during the live broadcast, they were talking about something else.
They were talking about the Duca missing the shot.
All I know is that hurt my ears.
So we talked about that a little bit. I put together a nice little instructional video on how not to do that. They got new headset mics, I heard, which got rid of all the arena noise, which is great because that was their big problem before. Is they just had handheld mics. They're getting all the background noise in the arena. The problem is because the mics are brand new, they're really, really clear, but because they're still distorting the absolute bejesus out of them, it's even more piercing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope somebody in St. Louis can hear this and hear, like,
Maybe turn your input up.
Shelly, if you're down, you got to turn it down. Shelly, if you're watching or if you watch this, have your AV guys watch one of the broadcasts. Like if they need to
Yeah.
buy the pass, let me know and I'll buy it for them. But have them watch one of their own broadcasts they're doing because they're painful, and you guys have the chance of being one of the better ones in the league. If it weren't for that sound issue. So the one kind of ugly thing that came out of the Central Cup, which we should talk about, and I'm gonna cue up one of my F-bombs here. In the last game, Comets and Wings, there was a play down the left side. Benji kind of hip checked John Sosa into the wall. I've seen worse boardings get just a foul. I've seen even worse boardings, like in that crunch game we watched, not even be a foul called. And they pulled the blue card on, but they were pretty consistent in those boarding calls in that game. So I'm okay with that.
No.
Sosa gets up. Benji turns around and says something to him. Sosa walks away. Benji says something else. And I don't know if Sosa said anything in between this. And Sosa turns around and just clocks him in the side of the face. And it's very, very clear on video. We're not going to play that video for reasons of just don't want
Not
to do that.
advocating that behavior.
And we understand that tensions get high and things like that.
Hey,
And
of course.
I'm not really coming down on Sosa as much until I was earlier until I saw this statement by the MASL. Let me just read this. This is the tweet that was sent by the MASL today at just about 5 p.m. Central. The MASL is aware of an incident involving Kansas City Comets John Sosa during the Central Cup, a non-MASL sanctioned tournament. The incident has been referred to the governing party's Central Cup for review. What the fuck is that? So, where am I getting all my stats from the Central Cup? MASLsoccer.com. Where did I go to buy the pass for the Central Cup? MASL page on Facebook. Whose logo was playing in front of every single broadcast? MASL. I don't understand. It wasn't in an MASL arena? Sure. But does that mean it's not an MASL sanctioned event? Complete mystery as to why they would make that comment.
Wasn't it? But isn't that a MASL arena since it's the M2?
Well, there is that. I mean, it's right on the site. Like you go into like standings or scores or anything, there's three things that come up. It's competitions, exhibitions, and like season or major arena soccer league season or whatever the third one is that I can't get to now because their site is all goofy. But it's right there. It's absolutely 100% an MASL sanctioned event. If it isn't, you have led the fans astray by coming out with this statement, because all the fans all along thought it was an MASL preseason sanctioned event.
Right.
So,
everyone's saying it's a preseason tournament.
Yeah.
So it's like your logo is in all the advertisement. You're pumping out all the content.
Yeah.
What?
The Twitter
Yeah,
feed.
it makes it makes zero sense. And I was kind of jokingly telling the guys earlier today that John Sosa will be out for 3 games of the next MASL non-sanctioned tournament that Kansas City's in, which is probably the Central Cup of 2021
or 2024, or who the hell ever knows.
Yeah, whatever MASL non-sanctioned tournament they're going to have.
Yeah.
It's a crock. There has to be something done.
And I'm not
even just an apology. Like I get, like, so to this point, I get tensions get high. I know it happens at all levels of the sport. I know it's just that behavior is not acceptable. That's my one point. So there has to be an apology, it has to be something. And if the league or the team decides to give them a fine or whatever, that's up to them. But at least address it, take responsibility for it. And second, the league should not wash their hands from this. Okay, even if it's not sanctioned by you, those are 2 teams that represent your brand. Those are 2 teams that have an association with you. So for you not to force your hand onto those teams, come on, what is that saying? What is that saying?
Yeah, and the clip of the video is out there. It's out there for everyone to see. So I mean, exactly what you said. It's basically representing the MASL.
And it's not like the fans are asking for blood. I think a typical suspension would be a 1-game suspension for something like that. He got a red card. His team got penalized during the course of play. Everything that happened on the field the way the cards came out were really goofy because they listed it as a yellow for dissent and then a blue for boarding because he boarded himself, and then another red for something. It should have just been a direct red, but the refs got together and they made the outcome was the right way. Even if you got there going the long way around, you took 3 rights instead of 1 left or whatever, they got it right.
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
You got it.
Okay.
But it's a typical thing. I remember a player, I won't even say the name, basically did one of these to a guy, completely 100% vicious, trying to hit him in the face, got a 1-game suspension, everything said and done, he's back. He learned his lesson. That's it.
So yeah, so now it boils down to what do we think the punishment's going to be? So last season, actually the last couple of seasons, there have been some interesting suspensions. So we'll take Harrisburg Utica from last season. Jake Schindler got suspended 1 game for kind of like tackling one of the guys from Harrisburg. Tagba, of course, got a game suspension for leaving the bench. Gio, you might remember this one.
No,
Adrian
don't.
Santos had a 2-game suspension, for, we all know what happened, and if you don't know, just, yeah. So do we think that's like, do we think that's along the same like punishment, or do we think an elbow to the face is more blatant than that? I would say a 3-game suspension is probably a fair punishment, I think.
I mean, honestly, even if they suspend them, great. But I just would love to see the league and the team address it in some manner, in some aspect.
Even if they say, well, you know what, we are the league. We reviewed the game. We felt that in-game punishment was sufficient. Plus, we also handled this off to the side, but we're not going to release what our findings were because we don't do that, and we're not going to give them suspension. That would at least be owning it from the league.
Mm-hmm.
But to give this non-sanctioned tournament bullshit, like, what is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
It's like, not me.
Yeah, it needs to be handled by the league.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be handled by the Central Cup committee.
Governing body.
That's like when my kids were little, younger, I should say, not young, but younger, they were named I didn't do it and not me, because whenever all the cookies were missing, it was I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I only had one. That's like MASL. Your hands in the cookie jar. Don't say it's not you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is like I really don't agree with suspensions, because I know some of these players get paid based off of games and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the situation with Sosa or whatnot, and I don't want our players to miss out on money. But then again, we can't condone this behavior. And then lastly, the most important thing is the team. The team kind of took ownership of it, but more so the league needs to. They need to.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't want to take it to the case of like the big leagues do, where their players can't talk on social media. They get fined if they say, they don't show up to meetings, or they don't show up to interviews, or they say, I'm just here so I don't get fined. We don't want that type of level of anything. But look at those leagues and see what happens preseason if they take unlisted or unapproved is the word I'm looking for, substance from GNC that they can buy publicly, that anyone can go into the store and buy. If they buy a certain combination of things, they'll show up on a test negative, and they'll get fined and suspended for it. And that's not even doing anything. That's not even touching another player or anything. But yeah. So
I mean, if we're a professional league, we have to have standards. If we have standards, we have to uphold them.
Absolutely.
No matter where it is. I mean, players get suspended and fined for actions outside the facilities, all kinds of stuff. This happened in the facility with two teams associated with a league. So why, or what's the questioning? Why even
more than one person on Twitter said, well, it's a preseason, what does it matter? It's like, well, what if a player gets in a bar fight off season? Not even with another player, just completely off, and gets thrown in jail or something. What happened?
Yeah, a non-sanctioned bar fight.
Yeah, I mean, that in other leagues, we want to be professionals. We talk about we want to be like the other leagues and blah, blah, blah. But when moments like this happen, let's turn away from what the other leagues are doing and let's do our own thing. You can't pick and choose. You have to.
You can't call gamesmanship and say that everyone does that and that's part of the game. You just can't. I have never played a game where that's been involved.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So anyway, one comment I wanted to make. We hear all the time, and we've gone into this all the time, that the players from old are much better skilled and there's no skill in the MSL these days and blah, 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 blah. So anyone who happened to catch the YouTube stream of, it was MASL 3 game of the Omaha Kings and the Wichita Wings 2. Many of those, actually a handful of those 2-team players we saw in the last game against the Comets because they had injuries and they just wiped themselves out over that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the way, something kind of, light bulb in my head went off when I saw this. If you look at the way they control the ball, it was a very low scoring game because these guys couldn't string passes together. The ball's moving very, very, very quickly. And it takes a lot of skill to control a ball on turf. And I think what's happening is the MASL players are so good at what they do, it makes it look so easy that it makes it look like they're not even trying. If you compare side by side, even Wichita, MASL 2 team, which I think we all agree after seeing them over the weekend should be in the MASL 1, provided they get some broadcast things set up. And if they don't, I'm going to go on.
In more depth. Yeah.
More depth. You're right. But I think they have the skill, they have the facility, they have the fans that definitely belong in the league in due time. But if you look at the skill of those players versus the MASL 3, and again, I don't want to take anything away from any player anywhere, but there's a pro league and there's an amateur league. It's like night and day. And these passes that these guys are making in the MASL that seem easy and basic because we're watching it from this 50,000 foot view in the case of KC, or a little bit higher up in the stands.
Improved it. They improved.
They did. Yes, they did.
Thank you, Eric and Nick.
Yes, thank you. And by far, I mean, not even like if we're ranking the 4 broadcasts. You have Kansas City, you have like 5 or 6 blanks, and then you have Dallas, and then you have 5 or 6 more blanks, and you have St. Louis and Wichita. Like it wasn't just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like Kansas City held the top like 7 or 8 spots, if that's even possible. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that watch the skill that these guys have on the ball and how easy they make it look, because they're not even looking at the ball most of the time. They are so in tuned with how their feet and their eyes and their body works. They don't even need to look at the ball, and they're making these insane moves. And then they're stringing these passes together while guys are running, while guys are streaking down the field perfectly. And some of these, like we call them like TikTok plays or whatever, where it's bam, 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 bam on a goal. That's not easy to do. Like your youth teams don't do that. They just flat out don't do that. And even the MASL 3 that I saw, they don't do that. Because as soon as you miss the first pass by that much, the second one's by this much, the third one's by that much, and the fourth pass doesn't even happen anymore. And then it's taken away. So I also wanted to mention on
while you hold your thought, I want to piggyback off of what you were saying. Even comparing those videos San Diego's putting out in the past.
That's what I was just going to say, yeah.
It's like the speed of the game now is way faster. The technique is way better. Like there's no doubt there was skill back then, but
back in the 80s,
it just does not look good. Like comparing it just is.
So there was a video on Saturday, San Diego Soccer's channel. They put out 4 or 5 videos a day, and they do it. It's kind of cool. They do it in like a story thing. Hey, Jeff Husted is in here. The old school podcasts are way better than the ones today. I agree, Jeff. That MASL podcast with that guy who was that? Who did that MASL podcast? Oh, Craig Elston. That guy did it.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah, he did that.
In the box crap we got going on today.
and Kansas City has Eric Bergrid, which is a lot better than that other guy that Nick Vassos had to work with, and I can't remember his name.
Right. That's right.
Jeez, what was his name?
Hey, Jeff, you're one of us now, so welcome to it.
And the thing is, we didn't even get to do driving Miss Jeff or driving Miss Husted.
I think it was a drive-by Jeffing was the.
No, it was driving Miss Husted.
Oh yeah, it was Brian Budzinski who did the calls with Nick.
Oh yeah, okay.
So to mention that, so on Saturday, San Diego puts this video out, and they're talking about how great the power play was and how it was unstoppable. So I watched this power play. There's 4 guys on the defense, none of whom are marking a player or looking at a player until the first pass down low is made. Then the guy in the middle turns around while standing and watches the ball go from the left to the right and pass. So it was a 2-pass, center to corner to side and then shot in. Typical indoor play we see, 100 times a season or whatever, but the defense just stood there. And I'm like, and it was kind of when my comment, and Gianni took offense to this because I think he thought I was talking about all the players, but when I watched like Stan Stamenkovic dribble around everybody, the defense just like stood there, and I'm like, do these guys just realize it's wasted effort to try to run against the guy who's going to just run them over?
Do you really think Stan Stamenkovic could like do that around like Uzi Tayu?
No, not a chance.
100% no.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think we get caught up in the past that we don't realize how good we have it now.
Huffman has said this a number of times. The talent in this league is insane, and it's not. There was one game 3 or 4 years ago where these 2 kids, probably 13, 14 years old, talking about how the skill level is basically like high school players, and one of the goalkeepers throws the ball down, and it basically clears all 3 lines. And the guy's like, "Oh, that's not even that far. I could do that." And I just turned around, and I looked, and there's like 2 little kids there, and I was like, and I just turned around back, and I went just back to the game. And like, it's like, shut up. You have no idea what you're even watching. And that's not even to mention that the power of the shots, the bruises these guys are getting from blocking shots. The guys who go down in like the Nick Vassos patented log roll and get hit in the back of the head and then just stand up and run around after that. Like I hit my head on like the underside of my desk the other day trying to plug in a USB cable, and it still hurts. Like, what the hell?
You were questionable for tonight's show.
I was questionable for tonight's show.
Possible concussion.
Yeah, he's still under concussion protocol.
I'd probably be more coherent under a concussion than I would be normally, though. So
okay, well.
But anyway, so that's that. So
now let's look forward to the season.
So let's talk about the season. Oh, by the way.
Ooh, while you're doing that. Okay, go ahead.
I brought up the number of viewings for the games. I don't really have them all because I just grabbed a screenshot. But the regular games that were not the freebie game, and I have to imagine there's no possible way that this can't be correct. So the pay-per-view games were anywhere from 177 at the low point to 435 at the high point number of views. Now, I'm looking at this from my view of the tournament pass. I don't know if the Facebook events will show different videos or different views. So if you buy it for $9.99, does it show a different number of views than the tournament pass? Okay. But the one that they gave away for free on the Friday night that we had all this controversy thing going on shows 22.6 thousand views. Now, I don't know. There's never been a video that I've seen for MASL that's had 22,000 views on any of the platforms they've done. I find it harder to believe that 22,000 is the correct number, and that the next highest one for that I see is 435. Because I heard people were saying that in the individual pass, they were saying numbers of like 60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and then for like the tournament pass, it was like 40.
Yeah. But I go on now, granted, I know Facebook, that one of the reasons we wanted to move to YouTube is to get more realistic. Well, other than Facebook is just a crap platform, we wanted to get a better idea of how many people are viewing this. Like right now we have 16 concurrent, which we used to have anywhere from 10 to 40, depending on who was on and how boring we were. Although what's funny is the more boring we were seems to be the more people we had on. It's funny how social media works that way. But I thought, Yeah, the view count we see includes people who watched after it was live. But for Facebook, I looked this up once. Facebook includes every 3-second view as a view of that video. Now we did some testing, and I think it's skewed because of the fact that we own the video. But like if you go in and you watch the video and you go out like Matt does, 45 times a show, and he goes out and he types to people and he comes back and he watches it for 3 seconds. Does that count as a view? We don't really know. There he goes. We don't really know if that's true or not.
Uber.
But yeah. Thank you for the pronunciation guide.
Well, I figured it. I still get it, or people get it messed up all the time, so I figured I would phonetically.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
So that was that. I just want to bring up those views for that. So yeah, regular season. Or do we want to talk about a couple of rules change things?
Let's go ahead.
Talk about the glass. So thumbs up or thumbs down, glass up all around the arena. Matt?
There we go.
So
yeah,
from a gameplay point of view, 2 thumbs up.
Right.
From a potential fan interaction point of view, 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down.
So, but I have a feeling that the because the games were definitely shorter. Everyone noticed that. There was one that was almost right at 2 hours, and I think for a live TV broadcast, if better in the future, I think that's what they're going to need to shoot for. But I know there's a lot of people that would. I mean, people have even talked about if they put the glass up forever. I mean, obviously this season's different with COVID, and that's the necessity of why it came up. Although Wichita did not do that. They did other protocols where they pulled back like 15 feet where the seats, and they had only people who were tested could go get the balls that went over the side and things like that, which didn't help them in the M3 game because the M3 had a running clock for the first 3 quarters.
Yep.
So when somebody kicked the ball way out into the thing and they had one guy to go get it, the clock's running, all the players like, come on, let's go. But anyway, I it'll be interesting to see what happens with the glass. I know there's a lot of fans that like glass up. I did ask the Milwaukee Wave owner, Mike Zimmerman, what do you think about, what are your feelings about having the glass up? And he gave the best answer an owner of an MASL team could give. He said, I would do whatever the fans want. Done deal.
I mean, I could see that, but so the reason why I'm saying no is I think that with the glass down, it makes more opportunities for like top of the arc restarts, which are super, super exciting. And we saw that in Wichita. We saw a bunch of top of the arc restarts. And I think that just makes the game more interesting as opposed to just kind of having the goalie just kick it and have it bank off the boards, and like that's kind of like a cop out in my opinion.
So counter that point, just because I want to be
that's
it's exciting to watch the teams fight over the rebound. It's exciting to see them get the rebound, restart, and go back to, like, if it was the top of the arc, the defense would be at the top and they're playing again. Obviously, it's not start at the whistle, but it's exciting to see that. So the one thing I was talking about a while back with the field size, you didn't see much play in the midfield. You only saw the play on the ends. With the glass, you saw a lot more congestion and battling in the midfield for that possession. So that's one part of that I really enjoyed, and also the speed of the game. Like, it just fast.
I think wanting to be in the arena for as long as possible, I'd want the glass down. And this is selfish reasons. I think for where we've picked our seats, it's a perfect. So we're in like the 12th row back, and it's perfect view over the field. And there's no glass in front of us, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's selfish. For all the people who, the guys come out for warm-ups and they go all around to the first row of fans and shake everyone's hands and talk to everyone. Now, granted, we're obviously talking COVID year. That's, Matt, Hannah, and maybe sometimes Henry.
Yeah.
If he's awake.
But yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's not asleep.
Right. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, what my counter was going to be, I kind of agree with what Danny Walton was saying when he was on, that the top of the arc restarts are kind of a cheap way to score. I would say get rid of the intentional clearance top of the arc rule and keep the glass down. So I went like almost opposite of what you said, Matt.
Well, I think I like the speed of the game, sort of. Like the All-Star game was a little too fast for me.
It was.
And I think maybe implement a rule like we want to have a media timeout or a ref timeout at 7 minutes. Don't wait for a ball to be cleared. Wait for just a stoppage of play. It could be a foul.
Yeah, there's only certain kinds of stoppages that they'll do the media timeout, and in one of the games there was only a media timeout at like 2 minutes left, and I was in one Wave game 1 year ago that there was none. There was like no media timeout at all.
Yeah, and it was the All-Star game. That's what I mean. The All-Star game had the timeout in the first quarter was like with 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
That if you're going to have glass up all around, you're basically taking the whole clearance out of play. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. So make it a stoppage of play because they do it. I know they do it in college basketball where if there's a foul, stoppage of play, anything, they can go to some sort of timeout, whether it be media, official timeout, something like that.
And then just maybe make a rule that if you're intentionally fouling someone to get the timeout, you're going to get a blue card instead. Be on like
something like that. I think that I liked that aspect of it where it gave the players time to rest and
yeah. Another one, and we talked about this a little bit, and we've talked about I think when Brian and Eric and Nick were on. Let's not have the benches clear after a goal. Keep the players that are out on the field. They can celebrate exactly however they want, and they can go over and high five the bench if they want. But just to save a couple seconds here and there, especially when you got 10 goals a game, if you're spending 5 minutes of time celebrating goals, nobody wants to really see that.
I kind of like that part of it. I kind of like it. Excessive celebration.
But so you got a team who's up 12-3. And they score an empty netter, and you see the players walking off the bench because they don't want to. They know they have to go out there because it would be basically insulting if they didn't, but they don't want to celebrate because it'll be insulting if they do. That's the kind of thing that if you just keep.
Yeah, I mean,
or the six.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's best to keep it to the 6 on the field because one, you're killing so much time bringing everyone back because not everyone rushes back. You always have that one person that's like just dragging their feet. Right. So that's one thing, and then second, it's like is it really necessary for the whole like? In what sport, except the end of the game, do you see people just run out there to celebrate?
I like the idea of going over to the bench and celebrating. Yeah, because all your players are there.
Exactly. If you want to do it, by all means. But
look what they do in hockey. Obviously, you can't get people on the floor in hockey or on the ice as easily. But they always do a skate by and knock gloves there too. But I get what you're talking about. I mean, you can get the especially if it's a special thing, I think that's definitely allowable.
I mean, if it's like an all-star game, okay, sure.
Right. What about a non-sanctioned tournament?
No.
That's madness.
And I actually thought because of the COVID thing that there wouldn't be everyone come out onto the field, but I haven't seen that not happen once.
Mm-mm.
And then the other one I'll mention real quick, and this is not going to happen, so nobody worry about this for the season. I still think that the goalkeeper futsal rule, I'm digging that idea more and more and more and more, and it's going to completely change the game. And there are going to be people that are going to be like 2025, they implement the rule. They're going to be like, the game of 2020 was so much better. Well, not 2020. The game of 2019 was so much better before they had this stupid rule, because everything's better in the past. But I really think that, especially watching the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game, where a team is obviously not going to catch up, you still need to try. But if they're just doing the triangle between two defenders and the goalkeeper, the other team just kind of basically gives up, and then the last 60 seconds they just watch the ball.
Yep.
And I think it's Everton's words like resonate in my mind. Like, you bought your season tickets to go watch Max Ferdinand. You don't want to watch your goalkeeper touch the ball more with his feet in the first 5 minutes than Max does the entire game. And it's like, holy crap, that really means a lot.
Yeah.
And if
keepers are there to shatter dreams, not to play.
Yeah, but granted, goalkeepers can be all-star type players, star players,
Right, of course.
just as easily without having to touch the ball that many times. But I think it goes back to, Gio, what you were talking about when you first joined our little crazy group here, is what is the league marketing? Like, are they marketing players? Are they marketing? And if you're going to market a soccer league, do you market the goalkeeper passing back and forth with the defender 40 times in the first 10 minutes? Or do you market the goal scorer, the Max Ferdinand playmaker, or the crazy Paulo dive? Like, if I want to see a highlight of a goalkeeper, it's either going to be him scoring or him making a crazy dive.
Yeah.
Did you just dab?
How do you?
You were like.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Corn dog clip. Yeah.
Woo!
Need more dog clips.
No, but yeah, I do think that we should implement a rule that keepers don't touch the ball that much. As far as like playing wise.
All right, we will.
Okay, we'll do it.
Let's do it.
So Brad
Yeah, we'll
Crossley Brad Crossley. Jeez. Let's make sure we pronounce names correctly every week.
Hey, can you in the chat, Brad? Can you put the pronunciation of your last name?
I think everyone should just change their names on YouTube to how they pronounce it. He says, glass up, get rid of top of the arc restarts, make intentional clearances out of bounds, 2-minute penalties.
Yeah.
I got a way to take this. I got a way to take it on.
Wait, is it bad that I kind of agree?
Yes, a little bit, but no, I kind of do too. But I am only maybe 30% joking when I say this. Crossley, got it. He did it.
Hello.
He actually did it, man. He typed his name.
He's the man. Brad is the man. I love it.
He's one of your boys, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna hate everything that I'm about to say here.
Who, me?
No, both of you and half the people in the chat.
Good.
But
Attack him.
Just follow me before you hang up on me. Before we all hang up, follow me. It's good. We're not going anywhere. But before you guys hang up on me, intentional clearance, make it a shootout. But make the shootout 1 point, and then your standard goal 2 points, anything behind the yellow line 3 points. I'm almost serious here. I
don't hate it.
I'm almost serious here, but not a shootout with a 2-minute penalty, just a straight out shootout. And then whatever happens after the 5 seconds, ball's back and play full strength.
Oh,
I hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
And if Jeff Houston is still watching, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm away from this league now."
I hate it. I don't like it. No, I do think intentional clearing should be penalized by something.
Well,
it is top of the arc restart.
It is the top of the arc restart.
Well, no, I was gonna say I hate top of the arc. So
Brian hates it.
Well, then how do you fix it? Do you go over to the goalkeeper and say, "Hand, give me your hand"?
No, I think a 2-minute penalty would be ideal.
No.
Jack's like, I want to like it, but like, nah. And that's why I said I'm like 30% joking here, because you can't just make it a shootout, because I think there's too many skilled players in the league that a shootout is too much of a shootout is more of a chance of a goal than a top of arc restart. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
So,
granted,
now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about this idea, and it's going in my head. I think hockey does something similar. I think. If a goalie intentionally, like blatantly, like kicks it out.
Oh, that's a
I
2-minute penalty. If
I
anyone,
think, yeah, okay. So hockey does have that implemented. Okay.
but hockey doesn't have fouls. So soccer's like basketball, where there are regular fouls that you can't just give penalties for and you can't ignore, because there's going to be a standard trip or handball or something that's not. It's not like you're intentionally doing it, but it's not like it's a complete accident and you say, "Oh, no harm, no foul, just go." You have to call those as something, and that's why the fouls exist. Yeah, hockey's a 2-minute penalty for stuff like that. Hockey, there are no normal fouls. Like the Benji hip check and a Sosa would have been just a normal play that happened, 40 times a game for everyone.
Even the fight.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Actually, yeah, because little hits like that, the refs will just break them up and that go their own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking of ways like
So there's two ways to solve intentional clearing.
So that's what I was going to get at. One of the things that I do in all of my life, professional music, whatever this is called, what problem are we trying to solve? Like for people to go, oh, we got to get rid of this. Well, what problem are you trying to solve? And then they go, well, I don't know. I just don't like it. Like we the glass up obviously fixes a lot of out of bounds, keeping the play alive. The goalkeeper futsal rule fixes something. So is top of the arc restart really an issue as much as we need to fix it? And there we have it. There we have it.
No.
No, I wouldn't mind it if it was like not so frequent. I feel like top of the arc is like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings with top of the arc, because top of the arc is like a corner kick for me, in my mind.
It's like what?
It's like a corner kick in soccer, regular soccer. It's a chance you might score, but it's not guaranteed.
I would agree with that. I think it's for time. Is the time a problem? Because the top of the arc restart is a guaranteed substitution.
Maybe we could push it back to the
Just have
top of the yellow line or something.
You could get rid of that. So one of the was the Wichita goalie got burned on the box rule because he went all the way up to the top of the arc with the ball in his hand. And they called a handball on it.
I know, Brad. I know it is. Don't make me feel worse about it.
In the old days, intentional clearance was a 2-minute penalty. But then you have the situation where right now the way the rule is worded is if a ball is played out of bounds from behind the yellow line, is a 2-minute penalty. So if you get a guy sticking his foot out to block a shot and he moves his foot, the refs will a lot of times call that an intentional clearance. If a guy headballs it, when you're jumping up for a headball trying to block a shot or whatever, you can't aim that. It's hitting off your head and you're trying not to get knocked out. You can't really aim that. If that goes in the crowd, that's a 2-minute penalty. That's an intentional clearance. So yeah, that's interesting.
Contagious.
Yeah, and then Brian Halbert says it's almost always a guaranteed timeout on the top of the arc to write up a play. One of the most annoying things in the world to me is watching them line up, watching them make the guys back up, and then you've got your fucking blast players always do this, where they pretend like they don't know where they're supposed to line up. Oh, I don't know where the line is, and they make the ref put them back, push them back, and everything, and then they run up the ball and they call timeout.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like top of the arc should be for like crucial things, not like just intentional clearing. And intentional clearing should be 2 minutes.
You like the shootout idea? I have put no thought into this other than when Brad said make the top of the arc a 2-minute penalty. I'm like, well, that seems pretty harsh, but what could be in between there? Because remember a couple of years ago they wanted to do the rule that every blue card started with a shootout, and like 4 games of the season they were like, nope, this is taking way too much time.
Maybe like a 1 minute, because I think in lacrosse, I'll just throw lacrosse in there. They have like 1 minute penalties for like slashing and stuff like that. So maybe do like a 30-second power play or a 1 minute power play or something like that. 2 minutes just seems a little much.
What about like a bonus ball where there's 2 balls on the field at the same time?
Get out, Adam. He's trying to change the whole dynamic of the game.
Well, if we're going to change the dynamic of the game, if that goalkeeper rule goes in place, that's a entirely different game changer. That's going to change everybody's strategy, everybody's set plays, everybody's formations on the field. Like right now, the goalkeeper knows where his 2 guys on the side. They're supposed to be at all times. That's going to completely change. The guys all the plays that are set up to dump it back, all that stuff is going to have to change. And maybe I'm making too much about it because I don't play it and I don't coach. But to me, it just seems like the whole entire game is going to change if that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, the game does change because, like, coaching futsal, there's an age where they don't have that. Well,
Yeah.
before that rule came into play, I was able to use my goalkeeper a lot. And then the rule came into play, and then I just had to train my goalkeepers to be quick on their feet so they receive the ball, one touch it out. That's it. And then they can't touch it again until it crosses the 50.
Yeah.
So my goalies had to be good with their feet, and then instead of using a goalkeeper, I just use a defender instead. So the plays can still happen. They just change a little bit.
Well, and it's the instincts of these guys. So the situation is, and I'm going to use Matt's quote as F-bombs for tonight because I already used mine. We're on the field. This is before the game. We're talking to Nick and Eric, and then Ron Corey and Shane Butler came up and they were talking about starting lineups and rules and the whole thing. And they were mentioning the futsal goalkeeper rule. They were mentioning something else. And a certain captain of the West team came over and he was like, guys, let's just play the same fucking rules we played our entire fucking lives and get over with it. Because I think, and this was what, half an hour before kickoff?
Yeah.
I think a half an hour before kickoff, they were still debating whether they were going to change some of the rules for the game or not. While the guys were warming up on the field, this is going on. So having him come over and
they still really didn't call a lot. They didn't call anything.
Well, but
the first blue card was with like 2 minutes left in the game.
Right.
But that's the thing. If you're going to change the rules, do it in the preseason so people have time to adjust.
If you're going to change the rules, you do like NFL does, where you practice them in the preseason of the preceding season, and then if there's like non-sanctioned tournaments, you run them in there too.
Exactly.
And in the off season, and then you plan it for the next season after that.
Because if you change it now, okay, let's just say MASL came out and said, all right, we're going to do this. You're giving the teams that are playing in January 2 weeks to prepare, not even.
Oh yeah, no, I don't expect anything.
And then you've got Utica, Baltimore, Harrisburg, Rochester. They've got X amount of months to work on it.
Yeah.
So they can be more accustomed to it.
Not this season. This season is a dead zone. But we're just, the idea of
yeah. And that's what we should be doing on this, is challenging current ideas, trying to fix current problems.
We're the voice of the people.
No, we're not. We're just a voice of a bunch of idiots.
Come on, man.
We're a bunch of idiots who have a bunch of idiots that follow us. How's that?
Wait, so does that make me the head idiot?
Pretty much.
Okay.
You're good with that, though. I mean, okay. So let's move on. Let's talk about the regular season. First, Eric shot an article out before. Tacoma has officially announced they're only doing 12 games this season. They're all on the road. I think we already knew that.
Yeah.
But now it's actually 100% official. That's what's going to happen. So sorry, Tacoma fans. No home games this year, but you do have a team. So there's that. Brad says king of the idiots. I'm good at that. I'm the royal idiot jester then.
It's true.
Probably true. So in the let's see if I can bring this up here. In the regular season, I was going to talk about St. Louis, and you wanted to talk about St. Louis. Let's just start with them. So there are 7. Let's assume there's 7 teams playing and I called it the 4 teams on the East, and then the rest of the teams are the rest. So it's not East versus West; it's East versus rest. Yes.
Okay.
So what it looks like, though, from what I looked at the MASL website, it looks like it's not going to be any divisions. It's just going to be
I think it's going to be one big giant division, but there's going to be bubbles within those. So there's not going to be.
It's so. Would you consider the champion to be the champion?
Yeah, that's right. Might as well call it that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So right. I mean, right now they just have 11 teams listed.
Right.
In
And then
whatever order.
if you look at the matchups, they're just any teams. I think St. Louis has 7 games, Florida has 7 games, KC has like 5 games.
Yeah, because we still got to deal with the.
Oh, in January? Wow. Okay.
No. I think this all goes all the way to February, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. All right.
So let's start with St. Louis. So we were talking before about if these 7 teams. So we have your 4 on the East, Matt. We have Harrisburg, Baltimore, Utica, Rochester. Let's assume
Not your 4 teams, Gio. My 4 teams.
They're not my teams.
I don't exist.
Let's assume all 4 play each other the most. Maybe a couple Florida trips, or Florida coming to them, or something like that. But let's just kind of assume that's what happens. And then you have the 7 of Florida, St. Louis, KC, Dallas,
Ontario, Tacoma.
San Diego, Tacoma.
Yeah.
And those 7 play each other. From what I saw over the weekend, St. Louis is 7th out of those 7.
It's
and then
so
Gio
weird.
said, and this is right before you joined, Gio said, well, but St. Louis has a chance to start the season and get some points, and they really have to get going really early. So I brought up St. Louis's schedule. And check this out.
They play Florida back to back.
First 2 games, Florida back to back in Florida, Friday and Saturday, 5 p.m. and 3 p.m. Next week,
Okay.
next week away at Dallas. Then they have
Okay.
and that's on the, so first games are on the 2nd and 3rd. Then it's on the 9th.
Okay.
Next weekend on the 16th, they have Kansas City at home.
Okay.
The week after that, they have Tacoma at home.
Okay.
And then the final weekend of January, the 29th, Friday and Sunday, the 31st, they have Florida back to back at home. Well, not back to back, but 2 games in the weekend at home.
Okay.
So they're playing Florida 4 times
in January.
So, okay. So without, like, I'm not going to get too in depth. I think next week we could probably get like super in depth with the games in January. But I think you look at the game in Dallas and then the game at home against Kansas City as possible wins. And I say possible. I think for January, that is rough. That's really rough.
I mean, if you assume all 4 games against Florida are losses, and based on paper, you have to assume that. If you assume the Tacoma game, and based on what Tacoma's done with Toth and Waltman and all their signings.
And Dantas and Adrian Gutierrez.
Jesus
like
Christ.
So
Damn
they're
it, St. Louis.
So their best case is 2 and 5.
Yeah, their best case is 2 and 5, and that's like, yeah, that's best case scenario.
And
if they play like they did, if they play the entire month of January like they did in the Central Cup, there's 7 losses right in a row.
Yeah,
and that's if we assume all teams are going to play 12 games, that leaves them with 5 games.
I think.
Oh, they're going to have to play a lot more if they want to make the playoffs. They're going to have to schedule more games.
I think the teams that play at home are going to be able to play more games. I don't know if anyone is going to do a full 24.
It's hard.
I just don't. I don't see that happening.
So can I throw a question out real quick, and it kind of has to do with the season. So I thought about this the other day. So we've got, how many arenas do we have available? 4, right?
5 with Florida.
Okay, so Florida.
Wait, we have 4 available. Who do we have available? I thought it was just
4 with Florida. I was considering Wichita.
Florida, Dallas, Kansas City, St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
Dallas, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Florida.
Oh,
right. And I don't know if I brought this up in the chat or something, or I might have, I don't know. But why couldn't we play in Wichita?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be another option for teams.
So that actually brings up a good point that I wanted to talk about. The MASL, the MLS is doing a bubble city in Orlando. All the games were played there.
But the MLS has a giant TV contract and sponsorships and money
That's true.
coming in. If you play it, so let's say you do San Diego at Kansas City, but they don't play Kansas City. Let's say San Diego plays Ontario at Kansas City, and you take the money and you split it up between St. Louis or San Diego and Ontario. I don't know what the hell my problem is. You're never going to get, like, if you go to Wichita, it's going to be a really rough way to sell tickets.
Yeah.
And I granted, we all know that the owners are expecting to lose money, but if you go to a neutral city like that, and maybe there are more Wings fans out there. I didn't see it during the games over the weekend. I don't know what their limitations were. I thought I heard.
Oh, they were only allowed like 500.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought I heard. It all depends on the limitations of fans. Now that I'm thinking about it, Wichita may be a good idea because of the history and the fans there. But
Yeah, I just kind of threw that out there as another option of
yeah,
an arena where teams can go.
It may be, you know, the first month or two it's just road games, and then later on the season, their home games open up. But
yeah, so Ontario right now has no games scheduled for January. San Diego has 2 in that last weekend, at Kansas City and at Dallas, and then, whoops, that's not right. Tacoma has.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think San Diego, Ontario, Utica, and Rochester are going to play all road games, and Tacoma. I don't think New York State is going to be.
Yeah,
no.
we might not open up until like February.
Yeah, I don't see New York opening anytime soon. I read an article now that they're trying to block UK visitors from coming in, and I don't know. So
my wife just sent me a message saying Ontario, Canada, not California, is going on complete lockdown on the 24th.
Yep.
So yeah, we have the vaccine, but we don't have the vaccine.
We have 2.
We'll have more, and there'll be more, and there'll be controversies over this. And then, like, the first one, they did almost half. They had like 300,000 doses, and 4 people got allergic reactions. They actually shut the whole thing down to verify things and make sure that it was okay to continue.
I remember. I heard that.
So if we're doing that on that small of a percentage, it's going to go out. And I mean, granted, we've done 500,000 batches, but there's 300 million people in the country, and that's only the U.S. That's not even the rest of the world.
I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah, you should. It should be.
Get on it.
The flu shot look like a trip to the candy store, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but that's probably.
I have no clue.
But yeah, I think we'll see.
I'm going to say those 5 teams are going to be all road games.
Jack says the Utica Comets are allegedly planning on starting first week of February in Utica. But that's as of right now.
Right, things could change. I think we're going to see a lot more develop as the year goes by, and we could see a stoppage to the season again. And I think instead of trying to do a regular season, we should have gone with tournaments or a tournament for the COVID year.
Wait, sanctioned?
Central Cup. There should be
It's called Sanctioned Cup.
East. There should be an East tournament with those 4 teams playing in, even if it's just one arena. Yeah, I could see that.
Or just have a tournament. They did the Central Cup in that area. Why not do a COVID year cup?
Or even exhibition games. Even exhibition games.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a cup.
Scrap the season. Just do
Just
a cup
something.
over there. That way we don't have to argue about if this is a legitimate trophy or not. Just do a tournament, slap a champion on it, give the players something to play for, and that's it.
So
but I think it's too late.
We know that every owner is expecting to lose money. We know the pay-per-view isn't going to make up for it. It's going to try to help offset losses. But
which I think is a bad idea, though. Now, views wise, I
got it to work, and it worked for me. So for me, it's fine. But for a widespread audience, it's not a good platform. It's just
no. I think it works fine. I just don't think enough people are buying it to make it work. I think the Central Cup showed that it's not doing. It's like drawing in people. So why not open it up free and look for sponsors instead? Saying, hey, we got these amount of views. Let's do something.
I think it's more of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it type mentality. So I think, and it's just, I mentioned this last week. I'm saying this just completely on my own because I'm selfish. Let's have it on YouTube, but let's make it, you pay X amount. We know the quality of YouTube's good. You can get it pretty much on any TV, stream it on any TV, and we know the reliability of YouTube as opposed to Facebook.
So the reason is because Facebook is giving more money to the league.
Exactly, yeah.
Which I think in COVID era is fine.
It's fine, yeah.
That's probably what we need to do. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the regular season, with how many people really get it. So let's talk about next week's show. So we have a special Christmas edition show.
Well, can we back up like 2 seconds? Okay. So I haven't told you guys this, but I'm gonna go in the box Christmas Day, kind of as a year in review. So I'm gonna do that Christmas Day. Cool. I don't know when, probably at night.
When you say a year end review on In the Box?
About everything.
Oh, okay.
About the MASL as a whole, In the Box as a whole, kind of.
That'll be
kind of like
Facebook.
a State of the Union address.
That'll be on Facebook, right?
Yeah, that'll be on Facebook.
So yeah, for the impromptu, like Matt going live and things, and my unboxing, if I should happen to get anything more interesting in the mail, those will just be on Facebook because it's easy to just hit go live, bam, and done. But for our shows, I think this second show proves that I think we like YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, I love YouTube.
All right, so okay. So sorry for stealing your thunder for a second.
No, that's okay. So then on the 26th, we have a special show. What time is it supposed to be at? 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m.
Wow, that's early. Holy crap.
It's early.
Yes.
We are going to have the one and only Ian Bennett live with us.
Oh, I gotta get his hat out of the trash can at the Kansas City airport.
I need to order a Milwaukee jersey.
I don't know if you can get one in time.
I can't find them.
But yeah, so we're having Ian Bennett, 7 o'clock Central. I do not know. I don't know where Ian's staying. I know he's with Drew Ruggles a lot. I don't know if Drew's going to be on the show or not. I told Ian he's more than welcome to. Drew is absolutely more than welcome, 100% more than welcome to join us. So we're going to have at least Ian on. That's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the All-Star game, traveling, him having to leave his family, Christmas, Florida, the season, all sorts of stuff. All questions are on the table. So if you want to ask him what's going to happen after the season's over, are you coming back to Milwaukee, get lined up in the chat to ask, because we're going to ask him some questions.
Well, I'm sure you're going to ask him that. So
yeah, and then
He's
I don't know
hog it.
the week after. So we're going to talk about the league. We're going to talk about the first weekend. We may end up not having a show then until the 4th.
do you want me to try? Do you want me to try and get Brian Farber?
So here's the thing: is we're going to have like a half and half show of having a guest and then recapping the games from the weekend.
Okay.
Do you want to get like?
Maybe we could do it another night. Well, we could talk about it off air.
Let me know. He gave me his number, so I have it. So.
All right. Yeah, we want to get Brian Farber on. He was on the group who created the new ball, and want to get his. He has a lot of like behind the scenes info on the new ball and everything. But yeah, all right. These guys look tired. They got to get to work. I still got another hour before I have to be unconscious. So
well, thank you guys. Thank you In the Box. Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone. We'll do this again. What, like 4 days?
4 days. 5 days.
Depends on what you're in 4, we're in 5. So
Oh yeah.
we
Okay.
will see everybody Saturday. Everyone have a great holiday, Christmas,
Yes.
Hanukkah,
Happy holidays, everyone.
Festivus, whatever you guys celebrate.
Happy holidays.
Oh yeah, festive.
And congratulations to Jeff.
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah,
and
congratulations to Jeff Houston.
Bella
Good job.
Kaliki Maka.
Congratulations
I
to
learned
Paul.
all these on Walgreens Radio.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all they play.
And congratulations, Kansas City.
Yes, congratulations, Casey. All right. And if anyone wants to pitch in for the Corn Dog Trophy, message me. We can talk offline.
Take it easy, everyone.
All right, have a good
Oh,
night.
and Matt Johnson, if you're watching this, I sent out your Gator thing. Okay, bye.
All right, cool. See you guys.
Oh, I hit leave.